Bitcoin has been keeping us on our toes, and a lot of you might be asking, is this a dead cat bounce? Can we expect more? What can Bitcoin do? What is possible? And in this video, we are going to look at key resistance areas and potential Fibonacci levels that Bitcoin can reach in the future. Now, we have been on this amazing uptrend for the last week or so, and we have finally managed to find support. Now, in our previous videos, we highlighted this key area of support. If you want to have a look at that, just view the video in the top and corner here. But we identified two key areas of support that we're looking for if the $91,000 level was broken. And we said we're looking at the 79,000 and the 73, give or take, $1,000 area as to re-enter support, to build market structure on top of our previous pivot highs. And this would be a healthy continuation to the upside. This would be a healthy level for support to re-enter so that we can challenge the trend, break through, build consolidation, and push higher. Now, Bitcoin has not escaped all the tariff fears. You know, some of you might have been looking at the S&P 500, and you can see we had a sharp decline in the S&P 500 straight to support. That's a video that I'll be making next to have a look at the S&P 500. But in Bitcoin specifically, there are a couple of key things that I saw and that are looking very positive from a market structure perspective. So let's jump into the monthly chart so we can just have a look at our phases and see where we are at, what are we looking at, what is market structure looking at, and what can we expect. Now, I've opened up the monthly chart for Bitcoin on the Bitcoin index chart. Now, there are a couple of things we need to realize. We've highlighted the phased approach using the Fibonacci. You know, we highlighted the Fibonacci here. If you just have a look at that, between the 382 and 0.5 is our phase one. Once we enter the bear market, we have a top followed by a bottom pattern, followed by a break into phase one between the 382 and 0.5 Fibonacci, a break into phase two between the 0.5 and the 786, and then phase three between the 786 and the 1 level, being our previous market pivot tops. Now, we have finally managed to break through our previous tops, and we entered into what we call phase 4. Now, to put phase 4 into perspective, just to refresh our memories, phase 4 is, looking at the previous bull market, we can see that phase 4 is anything from this 1 level all the way up to the 1.618 level. Now, we pulled the Fibonacci's from the previous pivot tops to pivot lows from this bear market over here, and it highlighted these key areas in the chart for us: the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, being this between the 1 and the 1.618 level. Now, this level is extremely important because where we find ourselves now is in the same position as where we find ourselves previously. We have just broken past our previous bull run top, taking the Fibonacci from that pivot high to pivot low. We can see that we are finally in phase 3, and we are making moves to these higher levels. Now, if we were to, interestingly enough, repeat the same strength as what we did in our last bull run, you can see that we reached this 1.618 Fibonacci extension level at roughly about the $61,000 area, and we peaked at roughly about 69. But looking at where this level specifically sits into today's chart, the 1.618 Fibonacci level is sitting at roughly about $174,000, give or take. So we can see from, at least from the Fibonacci's phased approach, that there is still some upside potential for Bitcoin. Now, while we're on these higher time frames, looking at the broader picture, we can see we are still in this larger macro uptrend for Bitcoin. We have impulsive moves up and corrective moves down, and we can see we are still in this uptrend, still very solidly in phase 4, a very healthy correction to test the previous market structure in phase 3, and it's looking positive. But while we're here, I just want to look at the 3-month chart as well. Now, the 3-month chart is something that a lot of traders probably don't look at, but I want to highlight a couple of key things here for us. And the first is I want to have a look at the stochastics RSI on the 3-month. Now, if I pull the 3-month up here, it becomes very, very simple to read. On the 3-month stochastics for Bitcoin, once we have a cross down with the blue line crossing below the orange line, the bear market starts. And once we have the blue line cross above the orange line again, the bull market starts. So bear market starts, bull market starts, bear market starts, bull market starts. And what's very interesting and comforting for me looking at this specific chart is that the blue line is still above the orange line, and therefore we can still see some more upside potential. As soon as we see a bearish stochastics cross on the 3-month, this will be the signal that we will be entering our bear market. So keep this in mind. The 3-month chart, easy to read with stochastics, and this will be your cheat code in order to determine whether we have more upside potential or whether the bear market has started. So at least from the stochastics on the 3-month for Bitcoin, we're still in bullish territory. The blue line is still above the orange line, and we can expect some more upside potential. Hey, I hope you're still enjoying the content. Remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and to ring the bell for notifications. Your support means the world to me personally, and I cannot do this without you. Now, zooming in a little bit on the weekly chart, we can see that we have retraced back into these key levels of support. Now, I've highlighted a couple of areas for us, and the most important ones being the 50 SMA, which is the green line here, and then our previous pivot highs in market structure being the dashed green line over here. And I've highlighted this area here between the 1.272 and the support zone as our key support zone, highlighted in this green box. Now, in our previous videos, we highlighted the importance of the support area coming in for a continuation to the upside. We mentioned that we do not want to see a breakdown of the 50 SMA on the weekly, because this will signal a trend reversal, a break of structure moment for Bitcoin, and we can expect then Bitcoin to actually capitulate into these lower levels. But luckily for us, Bitcoin retraced back to this market structure on top of the previous pivot highs into the 50 SMA, and it has rebounded nicely from this green line, the 50 SMA. Now, if you look at the previous bull flag we can see that we had something similar happen with Bitcoin reaching these all-time high pivots of roughly $73,000, and it came all the way back down to this green 50 SMA where it rebounded, found support, and pushed up finally, and we managed to break this previous pivot high at roughly about 73,000. So this is a similar setup to what we are seeing now. We are seeing that Bitcoin has faced resistance at this 1.272, 104 level. Now, interestingly enough, a couple of months back, probably about November last year, we made a video when Bitcoin was still in these zones here at this lower $60,000 areas, and we highlighted this 1.272 Fibonacci extension as a key resistance zone. And now, looking back a couple of months later, we can see that it acted as perfect resistance. So if you want to have a look at those videos, I'll put that video there for you as well, just for interest sake, to see how accurate our predictions were in the previous videos. Now, this retracement back into the support zone is also something we were keeping in mind. A video from a couple of months back, you can view that on the top left hand corner as well, highlighted this area as key support, and we can see support has entered. Now, you might be asking the question, well, Martin, what can we expect now? Is Bitcoin going to create a new higher high, or is this a dead cat bounce? Hey, I hope you're still enjoying the content. Are you hungry for more? Hit the link in the description below and join my elite mailing list. I'll send you free trading videos every single week straight to your inbox, and a free market report to help you stay ahead of the herd. Join the movement. Click the link. Sign up. Now, in order to answer this question, I need to highlight a couple of resistance areas that we need to pay attention to. And the first one here was this 21 SMA, the yellow line, sitting at roughly about $92,000, or roughly about close to this 1.618 Fibonacci extension from this pivot low over here, from roughly 49,000. And this level here is something that I'm keeping a very close eye on, because what I want to see now with this rebound is something similar to what we saw during our previous rally. A break above the 21 SMA, you can see this support on the green 50 SMA, a break higher above the yellow 21 SMA, and then holding support on top of this yellow line, the 21 SMA, for a continuation push higher. Now, we can see Bitcoin is currently doing the same thing. It has just broken past the 21 SMA, and I'm looking for support to start re-entering on top of the 21 SMA. Looking at our momentum indicators, if we have a look at the stochastics RSI, we can see then on a weekly scale that we have recently had a weekly stochastics cross up with the blue line crossing above the orange, meaning that our momentum is definitely on the bull side. We can see that with this large push from this key support area at the $74,000, $74,000, $75,000 area, and this pocket here, and we can expect this momentum to start carrying us through to push us into these higher levels. But during these setups, I'm looking for us to hold support above the 21 SMA. As long as we can hold above the 21 SMA, the yellow line on the weekly, this will facilitate a move higher into our key resistance areas, one being this $104,000 and even the 1.414 sitting at roughly about $129,000 or $130,000, give or take. This is my next resistance area that I will be expecting Bitcoin to struggle with, but nonetheless, this momentum coming from the weekly if we just look at this momentum coming in, this weekly cross will put a lot of support behind this move. It'll show us that the momentum is on the bull side and it will start pushing us higher. Now, zooming in a little bit on this idea of a continuation push as long as we hold above the 21, if we look at the daily candles for Bitcoin, we notice that we have finally broken this long downtrend from the previous pivot top high of roughly about $109,000. We can see this trend line coming all the way down, and in middle of this month we saw a potential push above this downtrend, and we held support on top of the trend line, and we had our breakout moment for Bitcoin. Now, we highlighted a couple of key Fibonacci resistance areas that we do need to take into account with these moves. And the first one was this SR flip here from about $85,000 to roughly about 91. And we can see that we managed to push right through this resistance level, and this will start acting as support in the future. And we are starting to challenge our next Fibonacci resistance level from about $94,000 to about $100,000, $99,000 to about $100,000. So I'd like to see Bitcoin start pushing into these resistances and hold support on top of our previous market pivots. So if we look at these low pivots here at this green dashed line, we can see that Bitcoin is trailing above this support zone, and we can expect support to re-enter on this $92,000 area, give or take. As long as we can hold above this, this will also coincide with the idea of holding support above the 21 SMA, which is currently sitting at $92,600. So if we keep on holding above these levels, this will be fantastic opportunity for us for a continuation to the upside in these key support areas. So this will be good bull areas to re-add to your positions if you have not done so already. And also looking at the momentum on the daily, we can see that it is actually cooling down. We can see that the stochastics crossed up. It's currently trading above the 80 level. We recently had a little bit of a bearish cross here, so we can expect some consolidation in these ranges, at least from a momentum perspective. But keep a close eye on the 21 SMA on the weekly, roughly that $92,500 area, give or take. As long as Bitcoin can keep above that, we are off to the races. I can expect, looking at our targets here, on our first extension target is at the 1.272 from the all-time highs, and this puts us at about $104,000. So I'll be expecting, as long as we can hold above 92,500, a push into this 104, and our next resistance zone will be between the 104 and $129,000, between these two Fibonacci levels, the 1.414 and the 1.272. So keep an eye on this. I would like to see a continuation push higher, something like this, a push into this resistance area, something like that, and a confirming support above the $104,000 for a continuation to the upside to potentially target this $129,000. So keep an eye on that. This is something that I am expecting and looking out for. If we do not have a breakout moment above $100,000, if we rather move up to the resistance areas, I can expect a retracement back down to this $91,000, $92,000 area. As long as we can hold support above this 1.618, I can expect us to retest and try again to take out this resistance block. So those are the two scenarios that I'm currently looking for. Either one of these will be a continuation move, a continuation add for me. If we break above this resistance at 104, come back down to retest it as support, that will be an entry position for me. If we break past, come to this 104,000 as a resistance, I would expect a retracement back to the moving averages to this 1.618 at roughly $91,000 or $92,000, and that will also be another position where I will re-add to Bitcoin. But all in all, this is looking fantastic for a continuation push. The momentum is on our side. We have broken that downtrend on the daily. Just to show you this again, this downtrend, we broke past it. We're into our resistance areas. Support is on our side. The bigger picture is still showing more upside potential, and it is a very, very, very exciting time to be in Bitcoin. So with that being said, peace and love to the fellow underdogs, and I hope happy trading, stay level-headed, and I hope you crush it in the week to come. Thank you for joining me. I hope this was insightful. I hope you found value in these fantastic charts, these bullish charts and these setups, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and hit the bell notifications. Also, remember to click the link in the description below to join my mailing list, where I'll be sending you free emails and trading videos, and also market report updates weekly to help you stay ahead of the herd. As always, this community would not be the same without you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Peace and love. See you next time.